Anda sedang menonton dan mendengar Berita Busters. Saya adalah Zan Azli.
Dan saya Cheryl Ibu
Dan
Sawan.
seperti kamu tahu, kalau kamu telah mengikuti episod-episod sebelum ini, Berita Busters adalah rancangan berita dan hal ehwal semasa yang berkaitan dengan COVID-19, dan kami mendiskusi, bincang isu-isu tentang COVID-19 di Malaysia, di Asia Tenggara dan juga di seluruh dunia. Dan hari ini adalah hari yang mendung dan gelap dan banyak bunyi guruh dan sebagainya di luar.
Yes, but anyway, even though it's really dark and gloomy outside, it's looking a little bit better for our economy.
Fuh, what a segue!
Because-
Hebat.
Because the cinemas are now open in
Yeah,
Malaysia.
di Malaysia, kerajaan telah mengumumkan bahawa pawagam-pawagam wayang di Malaysia akan dibuka mulai 1 Julai. Bagi saya, itu adalah satu indikasi yang menunjukkan bahawa ekonomi kita semakin terbuka sebab
Yes, because the cinema
kadar
is
infeksi pun semakin kurang ya.
yes, and the cinema is kind of a, not to say crowded place, but it is a place of a
Mass gatherings kan.
But the cinemas are instructed to follow very strict SOPs where you cannot sit next to each other. Doesn't matter if you came from the same house, doesn't matter if it's your child, your husband, whatever. You still have to keep a a social distancing gap
Betul.
in between.
Menteri Komunikasi kami, Saifuddin Abdullah, telah pun pergi ke pawagam dan dia telah keluarkan statement menyeru kepada orang ramai di Malaysia untuk keluar, pergi tengok wayang.
Yeah.
Kita kena mengaktifkan semula industri kita.
And as an added effort, the cinemas are also putting out a lot of promotions where they are re-screening or doing reruns of old, not to say old, but previous popular blockbuster movies, just so that people will go out and feel safe again
Ya,
in
betul.
the cinemas and in
Yup.
the public.
Kita digalakkan untuk keluar, tapi kita juga digalakkan untuk menjaga kebersihan dan penjarakan sosial.
And always wash your hands. So, is the economy really in recovery, or are we actually in a Great Depression but we do not know it?
Inilah episod yang kita akan bincangkan tentang pemulihan ekonomi.
Dengan
wartawan sesuatu kita. We are happy. Kami gembira kerana dapat berjumpa lagi dengan wartawan-wartawan tersohor kita, Ian Johan Arif dari Astro Awani, Hadi Azmi daripada Benar News dan Wan Jun daripada Malay Mail. Apa khabar semua?
Alright, hari ni
Kita terus masuk ke story pertama kami. Adakah ekonomi kita selepas COVID-19 ini lagi teruk daripada kemelesetan zaman meleset tahun 1920-an dan 1930-an ataupun the Great Depression? Sebab kita jarang menggunakan bahasa Malaysia untuk refer to the Great Depression.
Yes.
So saya Google, yang saya dapat tahu sebenarnya Great Depression dalam bahasa Malaysia adalah zaman meleset.
So, adakah dunia sekarang tengah meleset? Hadi?
Saya rasa pada pendapat saya kita menuju, berdasarkan apa yang saya baca lah, kita memang menuju kepada some sort of economical punya crisis. How bad it is still to be seen because it is still ongoing. COVID, some countries are still under lockdown, ekonomi dia tak buka lagi. We have to wait and see how bad it is, and given how the global economy now is all intertwined, so if it is bad in America, it will be bad here. If it's bad in China, it will be bad here as well. So China pun kita kena bersiap sedia lah.
Sebab kalau kita tengok dekat Malaysia pun kadar pengangguran pun semakin meningkat sedikit. Kalau kita tengok dalam media, Astro Awani pun pernah laporkan, Malay Mail pun pernah laporkan, saya tak pasti kalau Benar News ada laporkan bahawa ramai orang sekarang mereka menghadap macam financial crisis lah. Mereka tak dapat nak bayar installment pinjaman mereka, mereka tak dapat nak ramai yang kita dengar juga cerita-cerita yang diorang hilang pekerjaan dan sebagainya kan. Maknanya berita ni memang sepatutnya benar lah kan. Tapi how widespread it is kita tak pastilah ya. Betul ke macam tu? Wan Jun macam mana?
Malaysia unemployment bukan sedikit, tapi kalau ikut Trade Union Congress, they said that quite a lot. Lepas tu semalam pun certain politicians mentioned that I think we have about 1.5 million who are going to lose their jobs, or it's going to hit that number 1.5 million. There are certain sectors who need people, they're not getting it. Tapi certain sectors yang dah redundant, dah tak dah tak boleh pakai, those sectors are losing jobs. But exactly which, I'm not sure. It's just from what I'm hearing, there are people still being hired, but then from what I'm seeing that it's going to be shifting. So there are going to be sectors who need people, and I think people who lose their jobs, they have to kind of be ready to pick it up lah.
Sebab kita boleh tengok setengah-setengah industri seperti industri pelancongan memang kena teruk lah. Waktu MCO, waktu PKP dan sebagainya, banyak hotel-hotel yang tutup dan sebagainya kan. Kedai-kedai makan pun banyak yang tutup. Kalau kita nak tengok daripada segi retail, orang membeli belah dan sebagainya, sebenarnya kalau kita tengok laporan tak ada beza. Cuma diorang tak pergi ke kedai, diorang beli online.
That's not exactly true.
Tapi-
Because companies like Zara, H&M are now also closing down. Some have already declared bankruptcy.
Ya,
So
tapi
the
diorang tak
retail
menjual
industry
online.
is also
Dia,
kind of closing.
tak, maksud saya ada laporan yang telah keluar, saya baca daripada The Edge yang mengatakan bahawa orang masih membeli belah. Cuma diorang tak pergi ke kedai. H&M dan sebagainya, Zara, mereka adalah brick and mortar stores.
That's true.
So the same percentage of orang yang membeli belah sekarang dah pindah, mereka tak pergi ke kedai, mereka terus pindah ke e-commerce.
Sebagai seorang yang selalu berpelesiran di shopping complex, there's a lot of people, but of course orang kata online shopping memang meningkat. Tetapi sejak mall dibuka balik, saya dapat saksikan memang ramai orang dah pergi kedai balik. Tetapi the problem is harga jatuh lah. Bila harga jatuh, deflasi is a very concern juga. So kalau harga jatuh, a lot of people will lose their jobs, macam yang dipredict 1.5 million tu. Store owners tak dapat bayar gaji dan sebagainya, mereka terpaksa turunkan harga dan sebagainya, dan ini menjadi satu problem lah, masalah besar lah kepada negara kita.
You also have to think about the fact that when you move the commerce to e-commerce and it moves to online shopping, like you said, brick and mortar stores versus online stores, the overhead is a lot less when it comes to, say, a shop on Shopee or whatever, because you can run it by yourself.
Dan kalau kita tengok Malaysia pun sebenarnya berjaya. Kalau kita tengok dah 3 bulan kita PKP, kita lebih kurang dah berjaya nak mengawal kadar infeksi dan sebagainya, dan ekonomi dan industri-industri di Malaysia pun semakin terbuka. Kita dah mula nak rejuvenate balik kan. Tapi kalau negara kita saja yang boleh rejuvenate, tapi negara-negara lain makin teruk, kita punya international trade pun akan suffer. Adakah kita sebenarnya ekonomi di Malaysia bergantung kepada pemulihan ekonomi di negara-negara lain, di rantau-rantau lain lah?
Memang kita sebagai manufacturing country, kita memang rely a lot on our export to other countries. Macam kilang-kilang kita, PlayStation 5 dibuat di Malaysia, di Bangi. So kalau macam tak ada demand untuk benda-benda ni, jadi kilang-kilang kat Malaysia ni akan ditutup. Dan kilang-kilang is very finicky. Dia macam kalau demand turun sikit je, they would just cut their losses or move it to another country, and that would eventually affect a lot of people yang kerja rely on all these factories to be open. Hari tu kita recover kejap sebab our China punya demand was low, but America punya investment picked up a bit. But now America pun macam going to slow down, so if we could recoup back by getting back our Chinese investment, it would be amazing. But if not, then we would have to find other sources of investment for our manufacturing side.
Wanjun, I feel like you have something to say to what Hadi just said.
I think that some of the our economists actually said that Malaysia is self-sufficient. Cuma, what we have extra now is political instability. So because of political instability, that's going to affect our FDI, our foreign direct investments. What we need to fix right now for Malaysia is the political instability. Itu ekonomis yang baru cakap lah. Otherwise, actually we are one of the countries who's actually considered in a way self-sufficient. But of course, like you mentioned, kalau China dengan US, whether we are totally dependent on them, I don't think so much. We are in certain sectors. For instance, microchip processing, manufacturing, a big market of that goes up actually from the US. Malaysia, for us, such a tiny country, kita boleh bounce back. Walaupun kena tunggu, I guess China dengan US pun, although China pun actually tengah susah, but they will be able to bounce back faster than us.
Ini memang dah menyentuh kepada story kedua kita lah. Kita nak tengok negara-negara lain adakah mereka akan pulih atau tidak. Sebab Malaysia kalau kita tengok kerajaan kita, walaupun ekonomi cakap kita political instability dan sebagainya, kalau tengok kita punya kerajaan which is the cause of the political instability, mereka confident. Mereka yakin, mereka kata by 2021 ekonomi kita akan seperti biasa. Tapi kalau kita tengok negara-negara lain yang ekonomi dia lagi besar daripada kita, Amerika Syarikat, negara China, Eropah dan sebagainya, sampai sekarang masih tengah struggle.
Yep. What do you think? Do you think China is going to recover faster than us?
Kita boleh recover, but it's going to take some time. And juga how do we want to recover? Apa yang kerajaan anggap itu kita dah recover?
Sebenarnya kalau kita tengok kerajaan Malaysia dia banyak inject money into the economy.
Yeah.
Inject money into the society daripada mengeluarkan soft loans, loan kecil, loan besar, business loans, personal loans dan sebagainya, dan banyak pelbagai insentif dan grant untuk nak spur balik ekonomi, kan. Dan kita tengok Eropah pun dah mula macam tu. European Union pun dah keluarkan banyak pinjaman, berbagai jenis pinjaman. Amerika Syarikat banyak insentif untuk membantu rakyat mereka sendiri. Hadi, adakah ini langkah yang terbaik sebenarnya untuk seluruh dunia lah?
That is what a lot of governments are doing. Essentially, the government is the only form of authority who has the power to do anything about it, because everything else is shut down. Semua economy is basically stopped. So the government is the only authority yang ada power to make money, to print money, to release all this kind of stimulus. Whether it's a good thing or bad thing, is a necessary thing. It is the duty of government to come up with this kind of stimulus. We need to see whether it works or not lah. In a few months down the line.
We're discussing a lot about how first world countries and sort of our developing country is recovering from this, and it's easy for us, well, not exactly easy lah, but it is kind of easy because we are injecting money into our own economy and we've got the governments to do that for us. But Wenjun, what do you think about governments or countries that can't afford to do this? So then how are they then going to recover economically from this, if at all?
Actually, our country, right, it may seem that as if we're injecting, but macam not enough. But for countries who are poorer than us, I think they will. It's very, very, very sad, because I think it's going to hit them even worse actually, and that is why people, like for instance recently when our government wanted to send the foreign workers back and they don't want to take them, it's because the situation, for instance, in Bangladesh is really, really bad right now. So they also don't know where to begin to solve problems in their own country. Because even countries like India and then Myanmar, for instance, also, they're actually quite big on tourism. But for now, I think people are quite worried and they will lose out on that.
On that note, apa yang Wenjun sebut tadi tentang tourism dan sebagainya, dan Ian juga tadi ada sebut pasal green bubble, kita masuk ke topik ketiga kita, iaitu pelancongan. Banyak negara sebenarnya mengharapkan bahawa industri pelancongan akan revitalize diorang punya ekonomi.
Including our own.
Including di Malaysia, kami sekarang tengah memberi fokus kepada pelancongan domestik.
Yes.
Kan, internal cuti Malaysia. Kalau kita tengok di Eropah juga, ada artikel daripada Time Magazine yang menyatakan bahawa di Eropah, negara-negara seperti Germany, France, Netherlands, Spain, Italy dan sebagainya, mereka mengharapkan sekarang masuk zaman musim panas. Mereka mengharapkan ekonomi terbuka dan orang mula melancong. Hadi, macam mana? Apa pandangan Hadi? Hadi baru balik daripada Ipoh, pergi cuti Malaysia juga, kan?
Kebanyakan kedai-kedai makan kerana dia rely on tourism, local tourism, like on weekend kan, orang Kuala Lumpur tu, orang Ipoh makan apa-apa kat sana kan. Jadi bila that source of income tu tak datang, jadi it affected them a lot. Everybody need to play their role to stimulate the economy, spend some money, macam like it's a bit counterintuitive lah, sebab sekarang semua orang takut kan, jobs are insecure, you could lose your job tomorrow. So the logical thinking is, I need to save money kan. But at the same time, we also need to spend money to stimulate the economy so that all the economy rise up together so that we could all be in a better position.
Tapi itu yang apa yang Ian sebut tadi tentang green bubble, di mana kerajaan Malaysia sekarang sedang mengadakan diskusi dengan negara-negara yang juga telah dikira selamat daripada COVID-19 ini, yang ada low rate of infection, yang the curve is flat kan. We want to come into a new, I guess, nak katakan trade agreement lah dengan negara-negara seperti Singapura, seperti Australia, New Zealand dan sebagainya, for this green bubble di mana kita boleh melancong dan kita boleh continue with trade. Wen Jun atau Ian, apa pendapat kamu tentang ini? Ada komen lebih?
I think not, sebab kita should focus on domestic. Kita baru je buka on domestic. It's just to bagi kita punya ekonomi, orang kata, tak jatuh. People spending money and things like that first. Melancong-melancong ni is it's not going to make us grow or kaya gila raya, but it's just kita cycle that money to everyone else in Malaysia. It's just kita tak tahu macam mana virus ni, it's still a mystery. How it spreads, how tiba-tiba yang kosong boleh ada balik dekat Beijing. It's just a mystery, we don't know. Selagi we don't get that vaccine, tak tahu, I think we shouldn't open to all. As long as we can, orang kata kita boleh maintain our economy right now, pusing.
I agree with Ian saying that we shouldn't open for tourism just yet, but maybe we can slowly allow business travel, people who travel for business. Because interestingly, recently also I spoke to this professor. The reason of the infection is not because of of the activities that we're doing. It's mainly because of crowding. So if there is a way that the respective countries can actually find a way to reduce crowding, but still yet allow activities to carry on, I think that there is hope that things could still carry on like tourism. Means just reduce number of people instead of just stopping entirely.
Okay, I think that should do. For the audience, they should always notice that kita bila kita ada episod-episod macam ni, kita tak pernah ada conclusion. Kita akan bincang.
The conclusion is relative.
In our defense, we let the public make their own conclusion. Kesimpulan tu dibuat oleh penonton kita. Kita cuma beri pendapat. Betul.
Alright.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Terima kasih banyak-banyak Hadi, Ian dan Wen Jun. Very happy to have you.
You're welcome.
Terima kasih Ian Johan Arif, Hadi Azmi dan Su Wen Jun.
Always good to have all of you.
Always good to have them. So now we go into my favourite segment, benar atau palsu.
Dah tak larat lagi nak gaduh tentang
Because it's
tajuk segmen ini.
great, it's wonderful. But today we're not actually going to talk about real or fake news, but we're going to call out or salute some real troopers who have been calling out fake news.
Walaupun ini bukan satu tip untuk bendung berita palsu, tapi kalau anda semua di luar sana ingin tahu apa berita yang benar dan palsu sebenarnya, beberapa kali saya guna perkataan sebenarnya, we should have a counter. Right? Kalau kita tengok ahli-ahli komedi, stand-up comedians dan ahli-ahli pelawak dan sebagainya, mereka sebenarnya betul-betul cuba mengumumkan apa yang benar dan apa yang palsu dalam
cara yang komedik
dan kelakar.
Yes.
Seperti contohnya
Gajan Nat has a daily show, and he does regular comments on Facebook, short bite-sized videos on how he calls out the fake news that is.
Ini adalah pelawak lokal Malaysia. Comedian, local
because
comedian.
we must support local Malaysians.
Of course.
Okay.
Saya juga ingin membawa perhatian anda kepada Dr. Jason Leong. Dia pun ada rancangan sendiri live di Facebook dan di Twitter.
Yes.
Di mana dia pun membincangkan isu-isu semasa dan sebagainya dalam cara yang sangat kelakar.
Yes, Kavin J has two shows. Satu with Papi Zack, which is also a Facebook Live, and one with Kiran Baladevan, which is a podcast, The Macha Men, where they also discuss real and fake news and social issues in Malaysia. So these are all local comedians that we are recommending.
Haris Iskandar pun seorang juga. Haris Iskandar pun juga, kalau kamu ikut Facebook page dia pun ada rancangan dia sendiri juga. Dan ramai lagi lah. Saya rasa Mat Sabah pun ada bagi komen tentang COVID-19 dan sebagainya.
So the comedians are actually delivering a lot of real news or busting fake news
Ya, betul.
in a very comedic manner, but obviously not as funny as us.
Antarabangsa pun ada juga komedian-komedian antarabangsa
Like-
seperti your favourite Hasan Minhaj. Dia
Yes.
suka, saya tak suka Hasan Minhaj. Tapi tak apa, dia suka, dia bolehlah promote kan. Dia ada apa nama rancangan dia di
Hasan
Netflix.
Minhaj show is called Patriot Act with Hasan Minhaj.
Ya, betul.
And he doesn't really combat fake news exactly to the point, but he does it really subtly in the umbrella of his entire show because
Betul.
he is brilliant
Dan saya pula suka
and very good looking,
Saya-
incredibly good looking,
No man, dia macam
and super articulate. Wonderful.
saya suka orang-orang seperti Conan O'Brien, John Oliver, dan juga siapa lagi? John Oliver, Trevor Noah. Mereka pun sekarang sebab COVID-19 mereka adakan rancangan mereka dari rumah seperti kami.
Yes.
Kan, seperti kami. Dia orang shoot daripada rumah dan mereka juga bust fake news lah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's our tip for this week.
Yeah. So don't take life too seriously, but take it for reals by watching some comedians.
Ya, betul.
Yes.
Okey, anda telah pun menonton dan mendengar rancangan Berita Busters. Kamu boleh menonton semua rancangan kami episod-episod sebelum ini pun di mana?
Disinfect.com.
Disinfect.com dan juga semua platform Fatbidin.
At Febidin.
@Fatbidin dan fatbidin.com. Dan kami rancangan ini sebenarnya dibawa kepada anda oleh Rights Foundation.